We built an entire civilization on the lie that we could measure reality without touching it. We convinced ourselves that if we just counted the numbers and ignored the feeling in our chests, we would find the truth. As if the act of counting could ever happen from outside the thing being counted. But we were wrong. Measurement is participation. Every single time you observe the world, you bend the world. We aimed our massive instruments at the heavens, looking for truth in light years and decimals. And somewhere between the photon and the pupil, we realized the experiment was mutual. The universe was looking back. This is the shift from cold proof to the mirror of knowing. We used to think the body was just a meat suit, an inert container for consciousness to ride around in. But in the last decade, our instruments finally got sensitive enough to confirm what shamans and poets have been screaming for centuries. Your body is not a container. It is a resonant field of living story. Look at psychoneuroimmunology. It shows that every thought you have, every image you hold in your mind, sends molecules into your bloodstream like letters dropped into a postal network. Your immune cells read those letters. They decide to stand down or stand ready based on your internal narrative. That is not a metaphor. That is biology. Epigenetics reveals that experience writes itself directly onto your genome. Trauma and tenderness leave chemical bookmarks on your DNA, methyl groups that tell your genes how to express themselves. The ancestral curse, or the ancestral blessing, isn't some ghost story. It is a biological instruction waiting for a new myth to tell it what to do. And then there is neuroplasticity, which proves that imagination actually sculpts tissue. Neurons extend, retract, and rewire under the pressure of your attention, just like iron filings rearranging under a magnet. The map of your brain is not fixed in stone. It is a living manuscript, and you are the one holding the pen. This is where science meets the magician. The magician has always known that the body is both a laboratory and an altar. The scientist is only now beginning to admit it. Consider the vagus nerve. It is the golden thread winding from your brainstem to your gut, from your larynx to your heart. It is the instrument of calm, safety, and voice. A single exhale, a hum, or a soft look can change the chemistry of every organ in your body. We used to say spirit enters with the breath as a poetic idea, but now we know it is a physiological description. When the ego's story goes quiet, in meditation, in awe, in ritual, disparate regions of the brain light up in synchrony. Creativity and mystical experiences aren't fantasies. They are the nervous system's native state when it is freed from the small self. Your stories are not entertainment, they are instructions. Your nervous system is a field transceiver. Your breath is a tuning fork. Your imagination is not a passenger, it is a sculptor. This brings us to the three archetypes that are finally merging: the scientist, the magician, and the storyteller. The scientist's gift is calibration. She holds the note steady so it doesn't dissolve into noise. She loves the real so precisely that she refuses to let us drift into self-deception. But even she has found that measurement is an act of intimacy. Quantum optics confirm that observation collapses probabilities. The act of looking brings one possibility into being and lets the others fall away. Even in double-blind trials, expectation changes outcomes. The field responds to our focus. She measured the light and found it listening. Then there is the magician. The magician knows that participation never ended. Magic calls it participation. Science calls it the observer effect. Story calls it relationship. They are the same event wearing different clothes. Without the scientist, spirituality drifts into delusion. Without the magician, science fossilizes into dogma. Together, they create a living synthesis where disciplined attention and awakened imagination converge. And binding them together is the storyteller. Her art is the architecture of perception itself. Neuroscience calls this predictive coding. It turns out the brain is not a camera, it is a dramatist. It scripts reality in advance and then edits the world to match that script. The story you believe becomes the pattern your neurons enforce. When you retell a memory in a new emotional climate, you physically rewire the synapses. You don't just change your mind, you change your flesh. Narrative medicine is documenting this right now. When a patient reauthors their life, cortisol falls, immune tone rises, and the body exhales. This convergence is what we call Idralectics. It is the dialogue between the measurable and the miraculous. It is not an argument where one side wins. It is a rhythm. The body listens long before the mind explains. Each electrical pulse through a neuron is a revelation. The clairvoyant doesn't look beyond the body, but through it. We have to stop thinking of belief as just a mental hope. We were taught that if we believe hard enough, magic happens. But belief is only the doorway. Participation is the walkthrough. Your nervous system runs on stories, not just beliefs. When you visualize an archetype, a god, or a state of power, you aren't pretending. You are feeding your predictive coding a rich pattern to inhabit. You are rehearsing a new state of being. This is why ancient systems used gods and symbols. They act as neuro-mythic interfaces. When you vibrate their tones or breathe their colors, you are switching on the pattern inside you that they represent. Belief hopes, but participation rewires. Myth doesn't just describe your reality, it builds it, cell by cell, breath by breath. So here is the truth about the new human biology. It is not a hierarchy of mind over matter. It is a reciprocity. Story, chemistry, and field are one process. You stand at the intersection. You are the tale singer. When you whisper, the universe answers. Not because it is magic, but because you are part of the circuitry. The pulse in the telescope echoes the pulse behind your eye. We mistook reflection for distance. The cosmos does not sit inert while we describe it. It leans closer, learning our language, shaping itself to our questions. The more precisely we look, the more personally it speaks. Every nerve in your body is a prophet. Every breath is a signal from the invisible. There are no borders between science and mysticism, only gradients of perception. To listen to your nerves is to hear the universe thinking aloud. To breathe is to translate light into experience. We are moving into an era of dialogue. Science measuring, magic moving, story meaning. Each is a facet of the same mirror, reflecting the other's light. The universe is inhaling again after centuries of holding its breath. It is waiting for you to realize that you are the bridge. You are the experiment and the prayer. When you observe, the world reorganizes. When you breathe, the cosmos recalibrates. Speak gently to what you study. Touch light with wonder. Measure as if your instruments can hear you, because they can. Each atom is an eardrum of eternity. Each law of physics is the rhythm of prayer disguised as mathematics. The field listens through the one who listens.